Welcome to Alive in Writing, a podcast on troubleshooting life as a writer.
I'm Shatona Havoc.
I'm April Heyman.
And I wasn't prepared for this.
Well, who are you anyway?
C.R. Rowanson. We're here.
We're alive.
And we're writing.
So this is supposed to be about preparing to write. I have no idea what's happening, so I'm just going to turn it over to these lovely ladies, and they'll take it from here.
Fine.
You're welcome.
I tell ya, who needs enemies or something like that?
Okay, so...
April,
I know.
go!
Save us, April, save us!
So preparing to write, and you can look at it in a couple of different ways. Some people would look at it, overview would be preparing to write a book. I'm actually thinking it's more preparing for a writing session, getting yourself up and motivated. It's not so much the motivation part, because we are going to talk about motivation in another episode, but I'm talking more of like the physical types of things that you do to get yourself to a point where you can actually start writing.
So rituals.
Yeah, like writing rituals.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
Okay, so what are your writing rituals?
Oh, so my writing rituals are when I have to actually plug my hard drive in, because I have a portable hard drive and I constantly forget to plug it in. So that's the first thing I have to do.
Otherwise, there's this brief moment of panic when she can't find anything.
And trust me, it's happened more than once. I also have to have all my pens in order from my favorite pen down to my least favorite pen, which is kind of an oxymoron because I love all my pens. And for those who don't know, I collect fountain pens.
Yeah,
and
she's kind of obsessed with fountain pens.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a complicated relationship.
It is. And then I keep a writing journal. It has all my notes in it. It has pictures in it. Any thoughts I have before, during, or after, I'll jot down for that day's session. Let's see what else. I find that going to Denny's restaurant and and writing it at night for several hours is actually very conducive for me. So as far as a writing ritual is concerned, I put my kids to bed, grab my stuff, kiss my husband goodnight, and head out for the evening. And
Alive
write.
and Writing is in no way affiliated with the Denny's franchise.
Yeah, thank you.
But we should be.
It should be, since we bring so much,
I'm
there
waiting
all the time.
I'm waiting for my rent bill on the table when I arrive.
How would they keep those benches warm without us?
Right?
That's right. It's bad when they just bring you a cup of coffee without being
She just
asked.
called us bench warmers.
We are not bench warmers.
Sorry, couldn't resist.
So, Shatona, what do you do to prepare yourself to write?
Well, okay, my entire life is writing. Okay, I'm going to start with that. But when I sit down for the first time in the day, whatever time that is, or let's say I've had to it's better if I say it this way. If I've had to restart my computer, that's when everything comes up. So the email comes up, Scrivener comes up. I have to have a blank Word document unless I've got one saved. Because as I write, when I get... when there's a line that would make a good quote image, it goes on that document. And so I copy and paste them into there as I go. So this is part of my process. I have to have it all up. Because if I don't, I will have productive procrastination, and I will take that line when I write it, and I will go make the image right then. And that's nice, but it does break up the workflow. And, but I have those open. I have two separate tabs. Or windows, I guess you call them, with a lot of tabs. They're windows and then tabs. Okay, so I have two separate windows open. One just has my social media stuff on it. The other has all my research stuff on it. And so I have to have that open and ready to go. I have the pages that I've saved. So when I'm writing and I get to what kind of radiators did they have in 1901, I go, oh, it's that tab, and then I can go read it. So I have to have everything ready so that I'm not tempted to be a productive procrastinator.
That is an excellent point. So you don't have anything that you would consider superstitious, like if you don't have your pens in the right order or something silly like that.
No one would have such a silly thing.
No.
No, I do like to have I do like to be at Denny's. And like I said, I really am waiting for my rent bill. I want a little brass plaque up there, but they don't seem to be in agreement with that. But so I do like my spot at Denny's. Booth 14. It's mine. I share with others once in a while, but it's mine. And it's mine because I'm there from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. And it's really a lot of fun. But honestly, just having all those things ready to get going, if I don't, that would be my superstition, is that then there goes my writing session, because I'm just going to fritter it away.
Interestingly enough, when I was coming towards the end of Trip the Light Fantastic, one night, you weren't there, I forget where you were, but I went by myself and the booth wasn't open, and I waited, I don't know, like an hour, and there was 3 people who also liked that booth who were sitting there, and they weren't leaving anytime soon. I literally could not write because I couldn't get into the booth that I needed.
Yeah, I do understand, and I think I know who was in it.
Yeah,
I think I know
you do.
exactly who was in it. And they're really sweet to me at Denny's, because if they know for sure I'm coming in, they won't seat them there, because
Right.
they're really nice to me.
So, Clark, now that you've heard a little bit about what it is, getting ready to write, what do you do to get ready to write you do your writing in the morning, though?
Yeah, I think really the most important thing is each morning when I get up, I have to take all of my severed heads and make sure they're looking straight at me so that I feel under pressure, and then I will actually perform. No, that's...
I know. Shatona and I are not even saying anything because we're nodding.
Yes.
Like, oh, yeah, we totally understand. We've seen the severed... No, he doesn't have severed heads.
Yeah, but he wishes he did.
Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it?
I should get him one for Halloween or something. Yeah.
So, now that you put it that way, it's a little different for me, because like you said, I have to write in the morning. I still work full time, and the only time that works for me is before I go to work. So I get up at the godless hours of the morning around 4:30, and I get up and I have a morning routine I'm working on being consistent about. Shower, get cleaned up, eat some food, do a little bit of meditation to help get me woken up thinking a little more centered. And then I start on whatever it is I've been working on. Like, these guys are way more organized than me, is like keeping track of things as far as their progress, which is really weird because I'm the compulsive organizer. But that's really all I got, because then I go to work and I come home and I want to spend time with my wife at that point, which, that's weird, but...
Yeah.
What? Family? What are you talking about, family?
Right. Or there are these non-writer people that want my time. And so mornings are really all I've got. So I have to set stuff up to try and make sure I'm up at the same time.
So you have to be a morning person to be Clark.
I have to be. It's not by choice, but I have to do that so I can get that hour to hour and a half every day.
Which is really a good point in the writing, preparing to write, is knowing how much time you have to write. Once in a long while, I don't have 8 hours to write. Once in a long while, I know I'm only going to have about 3 hours, and then I've got to go to bed because I have to be up at 6 in the morning, right after I normally would go to bed. So
to be clear, Shatona works through the night.
Yeah.
And then goes to bed a couple hours after I get up.
Yeah. And then I sleep until about 2 in the afternoon.
It makes collaboration a little weird.
Yes, it does. These people these are both little early birds, and I'm the night owl, and they bear with me.
I'm an early bird only because I'm forced to be an early bird. I'd totally sleep in if I could every day.
But the world is so quiet and unsuspecting in the morning.
Exactly.
Oh.
I think one thread that I hear is that you have to be consistent. We do things consistently, and we have things that we do consistently, like having a place to write or having a time to write. So I know that having a writing ritual may seem silly to some people, but being able to have that in place actually makes your writing go faster. It's just a matter of figuring out what that is.
It becomes a bit Pavlovian.
Yes.
When you have these little rituals, if you want to call it that, it becomes this thing that once you've done these things, your brain kicks in and this is writing time. And so you focus on writing. It's why I turn on the Focus at Will music. It's really ridiculous. If I hear one of those songs anywhere else, my brain says, okay, it's time to write. Where's the computer? It's kind of freaky, but it works. So I'm liking it.
And that's really weird for me because for me, it's just scheduling. So like during National Novel Writing Month, I write my normal time, but then I come home and it's time to write because I have time to write. So I just have to flip that switch. And yeah, I don't know. I
think it's a girl thing. We're going to call this a girl thing.
No, it's not a girl thing. Just because he doesn't have a ritual like we do doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or other people don't have
But he
it.
does have a ritual. He wakes up, he takes a shower, he does his meditation, he gets himself going. That's his ritual.
I guess my ritual is just writing before work.
It's just not filling pens with ink and scribbling notes.
That is nothing wrong with filling pens with ink. I'm just saying.
No one said there was, just as long as you don't spill the ink.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
By the way.
Yeah, you know, the name of her book is Spilled Ink, so
yes.
there's the inside joke that we didn't share, but I'm going to spill the beans.
God, we're funny.
We're so funny. So now I think we need to have some time for the spotlight.
Oh, yeah, because it's kind of related.
Well, it is related kind of in the sense that it's writing related, and it's something that you use before you write those very first words. What we're talking about is the Write Mind Planner from Perry Elizabeth Designs. It is a great tool for pre-novel planning. So it really is a comprehensive resource. It's got everything you need to take you from conception to post-publication. It includes things like character worksheets, tracking calendars, scene lists, to-do lists, and about a million other things. You can find out more by clicking on our affiliate link down in the show notes. And to make it even sweeter, the folks at Right Mind are offering our listeners a 10% discount off your first order. Just enter podcast at checkout to get that discount.
Woo! Wasn't that exciting? I know you want one. You know you want one. Come on. Come on. Oh.
And I think actually using
that
something...
didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. Thanks.
And you too can stop the incipient alien invasion.
Using something like that, even as part of, once you have something like that, like I have an outline. I use my, I have my notebook, but I also have an outline in Scrivener as well. And then I know exactly what I'm going to work on the next day because I've noted it down. So that the planner itself is basically, that's what it is. It helps you outline your book and then keep on track as far as all the other stuff like marketing and whatnot. So I actually know I could take that piece and plug it into my writing ritual for that morning, which would be to work on the next section of my book.
You know, that is another part of my writing ritual, if you will. I go copy the notes out of my outline for this next scene and plug it into the next scene before I get going.
So when you put it like that, I'm actually working on developing a ritual. It's a longer scale ritual. I'm trying to build, and I like to call it a routine. Yeah.
Same smell. I prefer
Millennials.
the word. I like routine better too, if you want to.
Yeah, it's just with ritual, I start thinking of, you know, the animals and the sacrifices and the elder gods and all that fun stuff, which gets me in trouble in public. But anyway, the routine. I'm trying to work on a weekly routine because I'm still new to all of the blogging and marketing things, and there's a number of stuff you have to do regularly, and I just don't yet. So I'm trying to work on doing certain things like being on Facebook every couple times a week.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people of my generation that has a problem getting on Facebook.
Yeah, it's okay. I make up for it for you. Say thank you. Okay, well, all right. But what you need then is in your beloved little Evernote, because I know how much you love Evernote, you need an editorial calendar that plugs into each day's thing. So somehow you need a plug-in for your Evernote that has a calendar in it.
I'm sure there is one, and I'm going to have to go look into that because that sounds perfect.
Oh my gosh, that's so procrastination there, you guys.
Whoa,
Just
whoa.
saying.
Procrastination is later.
Yeah.
We will talk about procrastination later. See what I did there?
I see
I
that.
saw what you
I'm
did
so
there.
smart.
I'm telling you. So,
So knowing what you're going to do the next time you write is part of preparing yourself to write,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Which, again, is interesting because with my short amount of time, I usually just have a big task that I'm chipping away at a little bit at a time. Like right now, I am working on what is hopefully final revisions for my first book, Small Changes, Bloody Choices. And that's just a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
And I don't have to write down, oh, I'm starting this next scene, because I know I just have to chip at it a little bit each day. And
Right.
so I don't know, it feels different to me from what you guys are describing. And that's not necessarily wrong, but
Well, no, but we're describing creating a new manuscript, and you're working on at the moment. You're working on
An existing
polishing one that's already done. So it would be. I would do very much like you if I was in the editing process.
okay, but even then, well, this
Well,
just,
no, that's not true, because I would still be finding those lines to make quote images for and things as I went.
and it sounds like this is getting into personality and experience. Shatona has way more experience with the visual and marketing things, so I just don't see that at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I plan things possibly beyond death. So I have an outline for my book, and I just follow
He has
that.
an outline for his outline.
Yeah, and so
It's very outlined.
each scene is planned out, and I just chip away at that. And even if it's horribly, horribly wrong, I just make notes about what's not feeling right. And then once I'm done, I will make a catalog of all of the problems, solve all the problems, make a new outline, and then chip away at it a little bit at a time.
Yes.
My life is very exciting.
It's iterative.
And you know what, though? It's really cool to look at his Scrivener and Evernote lists of things that he's got to do next. It really is quite brilliant. And if I could afford to, I would pay him to do that to mine for me. But I can't afford him, and he can't afford the writing time.
I'm sure you could
unfortunately.
afford to. I'm pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he sat down with me and did that one time.
Oh,
For free.
Okay.
He works for free. Okay, he works for us for free. I'm just saying. Because it's like a
yeah,
public
that's true.
podcast.
That's true. We want to make sure that we're not sending people to you. Yeah, and Clark will edit your book and everything for you free.
That's not true.
that's
I
not
can't
gonna
guarantee you will like what you get.
Exactly.
happen, because he's a bad cheerleader in that respect.
Which we'll talk
Again,
about later.
We'll talk about it later.
All right, yes,
Procrastination.
ma'am.
I don't want to talk
Procrastination.
about it now.
Okay, preparing to write. Stay on topic, you two.
Topic.
I don't know. What else do you guys want to talk
Do you
about?
know of any other writers that have little rituals or things that they
Yes.
do before they write? Okay, share.
I
He's got
do.
his
So
hand up.
one of the people I really like to follow is KM Weiland, and we're absolutely going to link to her website because she
Yes.
is amazing about plot structure and all that stuff. Anyway, she has a ritual where I don't remember all of it. She has to get up, she has to get ready, she has to have her coffee, and lately, until it got too cold, she would go outside and get set up outside. And she had to have all of that in place before she starts writing for the morning. And then I know some other people where they go through a specific editing process of what they wrote the day before.
Yes.
And I think Katie may do that too. But until they have done that, until they've reviewed what they wrote the day before, they literally can't write anything new.
I think that was something that I remember reading in that, and I can't remember the name of it. We can link there. The woman who went from 2,000 to 10,000 words a day.
Oh.
She had
did
that
she?
editing. I think she had that editing thing in there.
Maybe that's where they got it. But some friends of mine are like that. They have to review it.
And I do tend to do that. I do tend to read the days before, especially if I thought the day before's writing was bad. I definitely reread it because half the time, guess what? It really wasn't. That's always really encouraging and it makes you want to write. When it was bad, then I tend to fix it. Like if it's supposed to be a funny scene and it's not that funny, not that that ever happens to me. Not that Clark hasn't had to save me from that or anything. No.
Which is weird. I can help her fix her funny scenes, but I can't write funny scenes.
Yeah, well, hey, it takes all kinds. I won't sing Roger Miller, say thank you. But if I fix all those and then I reread it and I go, okay, now that's good, I still get that surge. So I do tend to do that if there was any hint of it wasn't good.
And I tend to reread my scenes from the previous writing session so I can remember what I wrote. There may be a day or two in between writing sessions for myself. So if I don't go back and reread it, then I don't know where I am.
Yeah, so a lot of this sounds like it's pretty popular writing advice, depending on who you go to. Because I guess for me, that's not a huge problem because I'm usually constantly thinking about it. So either I could just be really good at writing or I'm just really bad at everything else.
Or a little both.
Or it's because I can only do such small bits. It's really easy for me to keep it in my head.
We're at time. And I'm
Sorry.
looking at Clark.
Yeah, I keep talking.
Well, this has been Alive in Writing because sometimes that's all you've got, but it's all you really need.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.